So anyway, it was a poor experience. It was just really, really poor. And I want to tell you right now what I really think of Majestic Mirage. You saw my video, and I'm going to tell you what I think right now. Today I'm talking about Majestic Mirage. I'm actually at Majestic Elegance. This place is quite nice. It's a great value. It's only night number 1. And it's raining, so I just went to the buffet. So the jury is still technically out, but so far, first impressions are above average. I'm loving this background. I have some 3D illuminated art. It's like the perfect hotel YouTube background, which is cool. And it's right next door to Majestic Mirage, which at the time of booking was the number 1 or number 2 ranked hotel on TripAdvisor, but it was right up there. It was between this one and Secrets. Between number 1 and 2, they were oscillating back and forth, so I just booked them both. And if you saw that Secrets video, I went there alone. First male traveler to ever go to Secrets alone here in Punta Cana. They told me that. I don't know if that's cool, cringy, classy, or just straight up awkward. Probably all the above. Okay, let's get to it. Majestic Mirage. I had one of the worst experiences, travel experiences, ever today. And I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but from someone that has managed teams before, specifically sales and marketing teams that are very client-facing, I'm really big into customer experience. I am really big into customer service. I'm really just big into the overall customer satisfaction. It's everything. And you know, I guess I've had worse travel experiences. I've had to sleep in airports. There was one time where I was stuck on a tarmac for over 3 hours. One time I planed, deplaned, and planed again. That was in Fort Lauderdale. Seems like wacky stuff happens at that airport specifically all the time. You know, there's been some stuff, but this one was just really frustrating from a management standpoint, from a customer experience standpoint. And I want to get your thoughts on that, and I'm going to tell you what I really think about this hotel now that I've experienced this. If I would have known this, things would really change, right? You know, how do I really feel about the hotel? I'm going to tell you how I really feel about this hotel at the end of the video. I think you're going to be surprised, so make sure you stick around for that. But let's get to it. So if you know all-inclusives, if you do all-inclusives, I typically have not done a lot of them in the past, but I've now done 8 of them in a row. This is like, what, my 28th, 29th day in Punta Cana. I've done 8 of them in a row, so I am very well versed now, very competent, unlike Majestic Mirage, on all-inclusives. And they all pretty much work the same. There are some nuances, like you'll find in Vegas, right? There are some nuances between Caesars and MGM and whatever, but they all pretty much do the same thing. And that's how these all-inclusives are. And one thing you do at these all-inclusives, if you don't know, the initiated absolutely know this, you pay up front. You might even prepay before you land, but if you did not prepay before you land, you prepay, boom, right when you walk in the lobby. Okay, they run the credit card to make sure that you're good for it. There is no credit line, there's no hold, there's no incidental charge. You're here for 4 nights, it's $200 a night. That is $800, maybe throw in some tax and ancillary fees, and boom, they hit you right away. And that is one thing I like. I'm going to talk about that in another video, but that is one thing I like, is that it's a fixed cost. You pay once, you put your wallet away basically for the rest of the trip. And that's the way it's been at every single hotel, whether it's been TRS Turquesa, Secrets, which I talked about, Hard Rock, REPUBLICA, Marriott. I mean, these are what, that's like what, 4 or 5 different brands I've stayed at. They're all like that. Prepay, boom, swipe the card, they hit you with the expense right away. You don't have to pull out your wallet again. And there's no hold, right? No incidental charge like you'll find in basically everywhere else in the world. That's it, boom, done. One thing you also may or may not know, depending on your experience with all-inclusive, is that you actually have to check out at the end of your trip. And I haven't checked out, I mean, I've checked out on this trip 7 times. I'll do it an 8th time here and a 9th time at my next hotel. But I haven't checked out really in years. I mean, at the hotels I go to, you put down your credit card for incidentals, they have it on file. If you ordered room service, or if you took something from the minibar, or if you did laundry or whatever else, they have it on file. They're gonna hit you with it. You're gonna take a look at the bill at the end, you're gonna take a look at your folio, you're gonna true it up, and if you have any issues, you're gonna call the hotel. But because they have my credit card on file, boom, I'm out the door. I haven't done a checkout in years. I haven't. I mean, checkouts are so 1994, right? I mean, who checks out of their hotel these days? But at all-inclusives, they are different. It's just a different management style. I don't like it, but now that I've done 7 in a row, I just understand that's the way they do it here. That's the way the world works, okay? No sense in fighting it. So just like the 6 times before it, I arrive here at Majestic Mirage, one of the best rated hotels in Punta Cana, and this irked me a little bit, okay? I use Expedia. I hate Expedia. I've made Expedia videos about it. The reason I use Expedia is because they work across ecosystems. I don't want to manage 25 different hotel ecosystems. I don't want to manage Marriott and Hilton and Hyatt and Mandarin and MGM and Caesars and go across the board, right? If I managed every individual hotel ecosystem, I'd have like 25. I do Marriott, I do Hilton, I do some MGM, some Caesars, that's it. The nice thing about Expedia is that no matter where I stay at, it could be MGM, Caesars, any one of the brands I talk to, I still get Expedia points. So basically it's like an all-inclusive reward system. Now it's not nearly as rewarding as like a Marriott or Hilton or MGM or Caesars, but at least I get something and I don't have to manage 25 loyalty programs. So that's why I do Expedia. It's terrible, I know, but that's why I do it. So I get here and the price that I paid on Expedia does not match. This is the first time I've ever experienced this. Does not match what they want to charge me. It's actually off by 20%, and my bill is over $1,000. So it's actually off by a couple $100, okay? Which is a big deal. I mean, it shouldn't be off by more than 20%. It shouldn't be off at all, because if you know how Expedia works, Expedia actually buys those rooms. Expedia can sell them to me at whatever they want, because Expedia has the rights to those rooms. It's complicated, but there should never be a mix-up. There just shouldn't be. First time I've ever experienced this. Vegas, Miami, Tokyo, wherever, their prices didn't match. Okay, a couple $100, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, I still need to get to my room, do a room tour, do a room rundown, whatever, okay? It happens, it's an aberration, no problem. Just wait on this. Turns out they're pretty consistent in their problems. Majestic Mirage, #1 rated on TripAdvisor. All right, so I work it out, and basically me working out is paying the price that they want, and not the price that Expedia said I could have it at. So I paid extra money. I get to my room and had a great stay. If you take a look at my video, I had a great stay. I talked about it being one of the best hotels, the best bed, really elegant theme and style I have not seen in Punta Cana. Very classy, very quiet. There are some things I didn't like, you know, about the pool and the beach, but I was very honest with everything I said up into my checkout time, and that's where things got really frustrating and aggravating. So I actually had a pretty glowing review. I'm a tough grader. Just for me to go to the hotel, it has to be good. I don't go to mediocre hotels usually, unless I'm doing like a budget series. I only am staying at the best of the best. So because I'm only staying at the best of the best, just for me to go to the hotel means it's really good. And just for me to give the hotel like a 1 or 2 rating, it means it's really, really good. I think I gave the hotel like a 3 or 3.5, or maybe even a 4, which is an outstanding rating for me. Most of my ratings are 3 or lower, and I gave that hotel a 4, I think. It was just today, but anyway, it's been a long trip. So anyway, I go to checkout. They make you check out just to make sure you're out of your room, and it really doesn't make any sense because you don't have a credit card on file. If you were to pay anything out of pocket, you'd have to pay it out of pocket. The checkout thing is weird. I think it's just so they know that you're leaving the resort, so they know that you're not like hiding out behind the bar or like sleeping on a sofa with your wristband on, like still getting like freebies. So you actually have to go physically check out, and they go to me, they said, "We don't show that you've paid." And I said, "What?" I said, "Okay." And at this point, I'm cool, right? I mean, you catch more bees with honey. There's no need to go to DEF CON. I forget which DEF CON is higher or lower. Is it DEF CON 6 or DEF CON 1? Anyway, there's no need to go apoplectic, word of the day. There's no need to go apoplectic right away. You know, just be cool. Leave something in the gas tank in case you do need to escalate, right? Leave some fire in your belly in case you need it at the end. You never go nuclear right away. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Why don't you look it up? And I'm sure that you're gonna find that I paid. And first of all, you can't get on property without prepaying. For those of you that do all-inclusives and that really do all-inclusives, again, I stayed at REPUBLICA, I stayed at Hard Rock, TRS Turquesa, Marriott, here, which is Majestic. I stayed across 5 different corporations, 5 different brands, completely independent companies. They all do it the same. You pay Immediately. They swipe the card, prepaid, they hit you with the full amount, and then you get on property. There's no, hey, I'm good for it, or let's put a hold on your credit card and we'll settle up on the end. No, they run that bad boy right away to make sure that you're good for it and to make sure that you are paying for the rooms that you reserved, all right? So they're all like that. And they said, you didn't pay. I said, first of all, it's impossible to get on property at an all-inclusive, usually, 99% of the time, without paying. It just doesn't happen. You pay right away. I can't reinforce that enough. You know if you do all-inclusives, you pay right away. And I said, that's ridiculous. I said, how do you think I got this wristband? I said, I didn't get this wristband because you trusted me, or because you like me, my personality, or I look cool, or any of these nonsensical things. I got this wristband because my credit card went through. You swiped my Amex and I paid for it. And not only did I paid 20% more, which still is burning a little bit, but compartmentalize, right? Be independent. That was 4 days ago. I just thought that was an aberration. And I'm quickly learning that they don't really have their stuff together, at least from a billing standpoint. So I said, okay, look, let me show you my American Express statement, because I have the American Express app. It's on my iPhone. Charge comes up on my phone immediately. I can pull up my statement very quickly. And I said, hey, look, boom, Majestic Mirage, $1,200, $300 a night. I was quoted $240, whatever, $250. I said, here it is, right here. I said, now listen, I can go get the receipt, the paper receipt that you gave me. I can go dig in my luggage. I carry two 65-pound huge suitcases. It's buried in there, but I know I have it. I said, I can go get that receipt, but the minute I go get that receipt, I'm gonna come in here, I am going to put it on the table, and I'm going to leave because this is ridiculous. Number one, how did I get in here in the first place? I have a wristband. I paid, okay? You don't get into property without paying. Number two, I just showed you on my American Express statement that it went through. Here's the charge. It has an ID number and everything. You go run this ID number, take the receipt number, go put it in your system, I paid. Okay, so that's two things to my credit that show that I paid. What are you showing that I didn't pay? Are you giving me a refund credit memo number? Are you saying that you refunded the amount and now I need to pay again? Are you saying the transaction was canceled? You don't have anything except nothing. You have nothing. Your system doesn't show it because you're incompetent, unprofessional, inept. Your management team is. It's not these frontline people, but they aren't listening. They're just talking their talking points and not thinking logically. They're not free thinkers. They're just being robots. So they're a little to blame too. I got the wristband, I got my American Express statement that says I paid, the charge is not pending, the charge went through, and I'm gonna give you the paper receipt. The second I go get that paper receipt and put it on the table, I'm walking, okay? I'm out of here because it's frustrating. You're not taking my word for it. Again, I have 3 points of proof, you have 0. Start thinking. So I go get the receipt, okay? Because they are not letting me leave. They, like the butlers or the bell people hold your bags. They are in it with the taxi people. You can't get in a taxi or Uber. Well, you can't get in an Uber anyway because they don't let the Ubers in the property. That's another video. But you can't get in a taxi without giving your checkout stub, your white checkout ticket. So anyway, I go in my bag. I sift through that bad boy. I find that receipt. It's just a little receipt in like 140 pounds, 2 bags of luggage, but I find it, right? And I walk right in there. I put it on the table. And they ignore me. Like they don't even know who I was. And I said, hey, look. And there was a couple sitting down and checking in. And I said, listen, I'm really sorry, but I need to get out of here. I have another hotel to get to. Now, it's the Majestic Elegance next door. But if this is gonna be as terrible and brutal as the experience over there, I'm not even coming here. And it's already like 2 to 3 p.m. So anyway, I put it on the table. And it just sits there. And that right there is the only physical proof because they aren't thinking critically. They aren't thinking sensibly where, hey, look, he has the wristband. We don't give anybody a wristband without paying. He showed me the Amex statement. Like that physical piece of paper was like my everything. That was like my slam dunk. And it just a little piece of paper just hovering on the desk. So I walk over there. I said, hey, look. This is like after 3 minutes of the piece of paper just sitting there. I said, hey, look, this is it. I paid. I'm getting in that taxi and I'm leaving. And if you have an issue with that, call the manager, call the police, call whoever. I'm out of here, all right? Now I'm not yelling and screaming like a banshee. I'm not being rude, I'm not calling names, but I am fed up. And they tried to take that receipt from me and say, okay, I said, no, you're not taking this receipt. I said, you take a picture of it, but you're not getting this receipt at all. Because listen, how embarrassing is it, and I said this to them, I said, how embarrassing is it for you to ask the customer for their copy of the receipt after you lost it as a professional business? Now you're asking me for my version because you lost your paperwork and your receipt. Now you want to take mine. I said, how embarrassing as an organization and as a professional. Things are escalating. There are other people in there checking in. It's a weekend. I am being cool, but it's really making them look bad. Okay, because I mean, come on, I got the receipt, I got the Amex statement, I got the wristband. I'm obviously paid, okay? Clearly, beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt. So anyway, they give me my ticket and I finally leave, and I was upset. And I just didn't like the way they didn't think critically. I didn't like the way that they didn't take a look and say, look, we don't usually let anyone in without paying first, 99% of the time. He showed me the Amex statement where the charge went through. It wasn't just pending, it went through. And he had the physical receipt. Pretty sure this guy paid. Like, let's let the guy leave. And from an experience standpoint, from a satisfaction standpoint, I just found it to be brutal. And they are frontline workers. I call them frontline workers, like a waiter is a frontline worker, or a bartender or a hostess is a frontline worker. Usually these problems, and this problem probably wasn't their fault. I mean, it seemed to be a system error. And when there's something wrong with the system, that's a management issue. And if the manager was there, I would have definitely gave him or her a piece of my mind. But they're not training their employees very well if they can't think critically. So anyway, it was a poor experience. It was just really, really poor. And I want to tell you right now what I really think of Majestic Mirage. You saw my video, and I'm going to tell you what I think right now. I think the same thing. I'm not going to let that one thing at the very end bias or influence what I said in that video. Everything I said in that video was true. Everything I said in that video is true. I think it has the best restaurants out of any all-inclusive I've been to in Punta Cana. Definitely the best bed. I was in love with the architecture and the theme of the hotel. I didn't like the beach, never liked the beach, I didn't like the pool. Everything I said, I mean 100%. I wouldn't let something like that bias me, because if I did let that experience influence my rating, then I think that I'm not a very authentic or transparent person. Now, could I make a follow-up video like this and tell you what happened? Of course. And maybe some other people have had the same experience. I know they have major problems right now at Majestic Colonial. I guess that place is complete chaos, and that's coming from the people that work at Majestic Elegance and Majestic Mirage who are telling me that. So you know what? I had a great stay. I had that setback, and that's fine. I didn't give the hotel a 6 out of 6 rating. I did not even give it a 5 out of 6 rating. I gave the hotel a pretty great rating. I think I gave it a 3 or a 4. I always find it interesting when people expect perfection but only pay for good. And I've talked about this. If you pay for a Honda or Toyota, fine, great cars. I actually think those are some of the best cars manufactured today. From an overall standpoint, I think those are two of the best brands of cars, Honda and Toyota. But you can't expect Mercedes or BMW or high-end performance or luxury from that. You're not paying for it. Some people want like Rolex quality for like Casio prices. And I think whenever you travel, or really in general, just in life, I think it's important to be a big picture person. When I see some of these people do these hotel videos, and I don't watch a lot of hotel videos anymore because I'm too busy making mine, they'll find a little speck of dust, or they'll talk about the customer service person at the front desk had a bit of a scowl, or housekeeping came late, or they ignored my do not disturb sign. And you know what? That stuff happens. We're humans. We are flawed people. You're not paying for St. Regis excellence or close to perfection experience. I'm paying $250 a night or $300 what they charge me for an all-inclusive stay. That's hardly like an Eden Rock or $1,000 a night hotel. So stuff happens. And even if that did happen at an Eden Rock or St. Regis, if that's the only thing that went wrong all trip, then I get it. It doesn't mean I can't be frustrated. It doesn't mean that I don't see them in a different light. But I'm not gonna let that one thing bias or influence me. I'm not vengeful. I'm not vindictive. I'm a big picture person. So I agree with everything I said. It was a great stay. I think it's one of the best hotels in Punta Cana. Was that experience unfortunate? Yeah. Do I think they might have a systematic problem based off of now what I know when I checked in, when they said the system didn't match, and then when I checked out, they said I didn't pay? Yeah, I think they probably have a problem. Will I think twice about going back? Maybe a little bit, but I still feel it was an excellent stay, a great stay. I don't know if it was excellent, but it was a great stay. It was a 4 out of 6. So I really wanted to use this as a point, as kind of an educational tool. I think a lot of you who watch my channel know this. I'm just kind of big picture, right? I just take a look at the comprehensive thing, and if some little thing happens at the beginning of the trip, which has happened to me, I mean, there's this one girl at Encore. I mean, she is terribly rude, and she doesn't even know it. She lacks so much self-awareness. It's actually just embarrassing for her, but she lacks self-awareness, so she's never embarrassed. But I've seen her twice now, and if I ever see her again to check me in, I'm actually gonna let the person behind me go in front of me, because it is the most dreadful experience ever. Like, it will make you hate Encore, or whatever one it is. It's Encore. It will make you hate Encore. It will put a bad taste in your mouth for the next 36 hours. That's how brutal she is, okay? She's terrible. How she has a job, I have no idea. But you know what? That's one thing. Is Encore still the best hotel in Las Vegas? It absolutely is. Is she emblematic of the Encore brand and experience? No, it's one person you meet. There are housekeepers and servers and concierge and all types of people you can interact with. If I have one unfortunate experience across 3 or 4 days, that's an A, right? If you're in the 90s at 9 out of 10, that's an A. So I think if you go to a hotel, it's important to be in the A range. I mean, for a great hotel, for an excellent hotel, you need to be in the A range. And an A is 90%. We are humans, and you're not gonna have a perfect experience, especially when you involve the human element. And last I checked, there are 8 billion human elements on this planet. So as long as there's a human element, I have a little give, I have a little leeway. Now, if these instances start to rack up, if I go back to Mirage, or if I have an incident here, yeah, I'm gonna think twice about it. Am I here to ruin their business and make YouTube videos about how bad they are? No. I just wanted to make this video to let you know, kind of from an insight standpoint, how I view these hotels. I'm actually very forgiving, I'm very big picture, and if something like that happens, I take notice, but it doesn't bias or influence my opinion.